Welcome back, fellas, on YouTube. For the people on stream, it's been all of 5 seconds, but welcome back to the top 10 best, worst, and missed potential skins of 2024. Last time we did the top 10 worst skins, and now we're on to the top 10 most missed potential. And this one always gets a bit confusing at the start, because I think a lot of people don't really understand what I mean by missed potential. If I did missed potential, for example, something like Chosen of the Wolf Swain, for example, where I don't think it really hit the mark of what it could have been, then in that sense, missed potential just kind of becomes a, well, these skins are also the worst skins of the year, but not quite as bad as the actual top 10 worst skins, so it becomes a bit redundant. Missed potential in this context is not, this skin could have been better. It's instead, how did you make this skin line and didn't include this champion? For example, and I will say it here, and this is why I have food-themed skins, because we had April Fools, we had a cheese-themed Twitch skin. Where's Croissante? Where is it? I need it. I need Croissante to be real. Anyway, that's my only honorable mention. so we can jump straight into the top 10. We'll start off with number 10, and we're going to Fright Night. And I think a lot of you guys will be able to guess what I'm even talking about the moment that I say a champion should have been in Fright Night, because to me it felt so obvious, and also because the legendary skin references him a ton. Mundo's a good one. Personally, I was thinking of Fiddlesticks. Like, Mundo would have been great too as Frankenstein for Zeri.
Electrocute!
I was thinking of Fiddlesticks. It's just a perfect fit. You have so many scary Fiddlesticks and you have some silly ones. Mash them together. Silly, scary Fiddlestick skin. And Vigar references him a ton.
Such a huge fan of your work.
I assume he's just referencing the base version of Fiddlesticks, but wouldn't it make more sense if he was referencing the Overlord of the Campfire Fiddlestick, you know? That would have been fun. Now we get on to number 9. And this one's more, technically it wouldn't have worked in context because the champion got a skin at the same time. I was thinking about Aurelion Sol for this skin line. Because this whole concept is that there are dragons who disguise themselves as humans to go down to visit the people below. Smolder's a baby, but you could have done like a full actual Chinese-inspired dragon for Aurelion Sol. I guess Storm Dragon is as close as you can get. And Aesol would have been like, no, he's too prideful. He would never stoop that low to disguise himself as a human. He's gonna maintain his prestigious draconic form. I think that would have fit him really well. He did get Porcelain at the exact same time, so in this world it would be he'd lose Porcelain and gain Heaven Scale. I would have liked that more personally speaking, whereas, you know, I guess dragon, maybe mythology is more powerful than a tiger, right? But anyway, I don't have a lot to say about that, just that I think it would have been fun to get that perspective of what the dragons actually look like in this universe and not all these weird the humans with dragon arms and hands and feet. Okay, this one's a spoiler for Arcane. So, if you don't like Arcane spoilers, I suggest y'all cover your ears for the next couple minutes. But this is one, because if Firelight Echo could be made into a skin, and we know the character's not gonna get an ASU, give me Ori. I wanna see it. I wanna see Arcane Ori. I wanna see it, man. Give it to me. I did actually, this is probably a tangent, but I'll grab this one sec. I did this, you guys can let me know what you think. I'm not saying mine's gospel, by the way. This is just my rushed take on it. One of my patrons, who's part of the World Tree tier, so they get to request a drawing every month, and one of them asked me to draw what I think Orianna looks like in Arcane, and I end up doing this. That's what I came up with. It's not anything amazing, but it's like kind of general idea, like these guys made out of all the perfected material, but not quite to the same way that like Sallow or not Sallow, like Huck and all the other goobers were, still keeping elements of Orianna. So it's strange. That's the point. I had thought like her clothes had just fused to a part, like she can't remove her clothes. I like the idea that her core is like a makeshift hex core, and that's where you replace the orb. She literally throws around the hex core that also keeps her together, and she's got no hands. One, because I hate drawing hands, but also because she has no agency. You know, she's technically a prisoner of Singed. Like, I doubt Orianna is entirely happy about her current predicament. So, anyway, that's a tangent. I just want a skin of Orianna as she appears in Arcane. If not in ASU, because I think she could use one. Number 7 and number 6 is kind of cheating. They're technically both from the same skin line, or same skin universe, I should say, but they're two different skin lines, and I have an Anima Squad and a Primordian. And personally for me, Anima Squad I am flabbergasted that they decided to do this thing with Aurora. Because Aurora was kind of entirely non-existent to the narrative, right? She's just there because she's the new champion, got tired of the event. But her whole thing is that she uses more primal Primordian tech. They're not as adapted as the rest of the Anima Squad members, right? That's the whole gimmick, is that the Anima Squad members take Primordian tech and turn it into their own.
Really?
Aurora still has mostly Primordian tech on her with the hat. I'm thinking, guys, you put Bel'Veth in there. You put Briar in there.
It don't bite.
Yes, it do!
Who's the Primordian who defected to the Anima Squad. Like, couldn't you have the reverse? Wouldn't Malzahar being corrupted by the Primordian tech and turning to the Primordian side, especially because Bel'Veth is there and they're joined at the hip in the lore, but they never have any skin line together?
That's me, peer pressuring directly into your brain.
I think that would have been sick as hell. I'm very, I mean, I know why they did Aurora because she's the new character, but I feel like if you're gonna go that direction, I think Malzahar would have been the perfect fit for that. I don't even like Malzahar. I think Malzahar is boring as bones, but for that idea, and especially giving them a skin together for once, would have been fun. Speaking of getting skins together, there's another set of champions that need to be together, and I'm just gonna say it outright immediately. Xayah was completely and utterly pointless in the skin line and did absolutely nothing, but what could have given her something is if there was a Primordian Rakan, and there you have a fun twist on their dynamic. You have a Primordian and an Anima Squad falling for each other. Boom, there you go, done. And you would have given her, she has nothing to do. She's just there, she just exists.
Just hanging around.
As far as I'm concerned, the Anima Squad team was Seraphine, Yasuo, Ryer, Alawi. That's it. That's the only ones they really show any kind of real focus on. The rest of them are kind of just off in the sidelines over there somewhere. I keep separating Xayah and Rakan because they don't like making joint recall animations.
That's not even funny, man.
And this would have been fun because they would have been technically matching skins, but also have the opportunity to look very visually distinct from each other. I think it would have been very fun. And you could have made Rakan look a lot more monstrous, right? You could have had him even more monstrous than Aatrox. So, would have been fun. And now, we arrive at number 5. And this one, I'm also kind of cheating. Kind of. Because I'm talking about Chosen of the Wolf here. So, when I saw Chosen of the Wolf, the whole thing is it's Volraknoon, right? It's hypothetically the Noxian afterlife. And so you have all Noxian champions, and then there's Pantheon. But he's not Pantheon. He's just some random guy. He's just some random soldier.
It's a totally unremarkable looking white guy.
But then I thought, so wait, you have this random soldier guy who's Noxian with this big spear who is close to Ambessa. If you're not gonna make him Atreus anyway, this should have been Rictus, right? Like this just should have been Rictus. Why not? If you're not gonna make him Atreus anyway, that would have been a fun way to include him in League somehow. It was such a fun character to watch. He's short screen time, but made such a big presence. I think if you're gonna go in that direction and not have him be the character that he's supposed to be anyway, it's just some nameless nobody. So why are you here then, Pantheon? Now we get on to number 4. This is a duo one, and this art will look familiar. We just saw, we just saw this man. But how weird is it that they made this skin for Yasuo? How come Kayle and Morgana didn't get skins?
I don't know.
How come we didn't get pre-founding Demacia, Kayle and Morgana, where they were fighting Aatrox? You could have just made them costume. You don't need to have big fancy particle effects. Make them like 750 RP skins, just costume change how they look from that time period. I get why they didn't do Ashe, because if they made that skin, if they made that a skin for Ashe, it'd be like, oh, just it's an ASU basically. And I get why they didn't make one for Aatrox or Trin, because they look exactly the same. But why not Kayle and Morgana, guys? Come on. I just think they should have done that. If you want to just make some cheaper skins that just for novelty's sake. I think now that the whole idea of cheap skins has kind of been soured because of the new Mask of the Black Rose.
We were robbed!
I think cheap skins work really well when it's a novelty thing. If it's something you saw somewhere else and it is just a simple outfit change, then I think it works fine there. And that is a perfect segue to my number 3 spot. I think they should have just gone all in on Arcane. I just want, for novelty's sake, give me like 520 skins. of Jace in his Progress Day tuxedo. Give me one of Victor as the scientist. Give me one as Heimerdinger with his exiled cloak on. Give me one with Violet in prison. A shit ton of cheap skins based on the different outfits they had in the show. And that way you can just make a bunch of them, fully capitalize on it as well. So you'd make a bunch of money because they're not very expensive to make. But those ones would be cheap for a reason, because you get them because you want your character to look like how they did in the show at any given moment. They did it before in the first time. Remember, they did the Arcane, Vi, and Jason, Caitlyn. Those were just cheap skins. Just do more of those for novelty's sake. I'm not saying for all skins going forward to be like that, but if I just want to be able to play as Jace when he had that cool black uniform on, why not let me, you know? Like, and you can kind of recycle things, but they're cheap, so it's fine. Now we get on to number 2. And this one, I both really, really want to exist, but also I'm terrified of what might be one of my new favorite skin lines becoming oversaturated.
What the hell's going on around here?
But I think if any champion was going to be included, there should have been a King of the Frogs Tahm Kench. King of the Frogs, it's been a whole meme that he's been a frog since existence. And you have Emperor Frog King Man Tahm Kench, King of the Frogs. Like, it's right there, dude. It's right there. Yeah, and people want it so bad they even made custom skins. I've seen the custom skin. I think they used the Longtooth model for that one as well. But you can go even further, like this big, like all this rain gear, and you have a big cloak. It could have been a big catfish, but he would have been a frog. They would have been an actual frog skin for Graves. I want an actual frog skin for Graves as well. An actual frog skin for Tahm Kench, finally, after all these years. Although I would have liked Frog Graves skin as well. Though I think if they did make a Rain Shepherd Graves skin, that would have been like, okay, so someone on the design team is targeting me specifically, I think. That's my number 2, though. I would just love to see it. Also because Tahm Kench has gotten a lot of serious skins in recent times, so giving him a more lighthearted one would be really fun. And now for number 1. To me, I think, especially at this point, and with how infrequently they've been releasing, and because most of the champions it's been affecting have a very low number of skins in general, I think at this point, they have to start investing. And it would severely help the backlash that always happens with these things. At this point, Riot Games, the fact that you did not make a traditional Skarner or traditional Victor is insane. Yeah, time capsule skins, like Trundle. Have you guys seen traditional Trundle? That one just takes the aesthetic of the old version of the character, puts it on the new model, and lets them have the old voice lines. They stopped doing it after Trundle, Sejuani, and Karma and never looked back. But I think now, especially with Skarner, who only has 5 skins, and Victor barely has any skins either, it's a great way to help appease the old mains, because now a version of that character still exists. Like, if I want to go back and play old Trundle, I kind of can. I kind of have the aesthetic still built in. A similar thing with Volibear, where they had the Eldritch Horror Volibear from the lore. I think at this point, they gotta start doing it. They really do. I get it if they're doing champions that have like 3 million skins, but they're not. This character's getting reworked to have some of the smallest skin pools in the game. So it's baffling to me that they haven't done it. And I think it would really help reverse a lot of that hatred. The people are really upset, like, why isn't Skarner Crystal anymore? I hate it. Well, here's a free skin that keeps him with Crystal. I hate that Victor's not a machine anymore. Where here's a free skin that still keeps that whole aesthetic alive. Come on, just do it, Riot Games. Do it for me, please. But that's it. That is what I think are the most missed potential skins of 2024. If you agree or you have any ideas for skins that you wish you've seen this year, let me know in the comments. And thank you, Yorick. Hopefully I'll see you again next time for the top 10 best skins of 2024. We get into the actually really good stuff.